So you're tired, you feel like your energy is gone, the scale keeps creeping up no matter what you try, your sex drive has disappeared, sleep is restless, and your mood feels completely unpredictable. You look in the mirror and you think, why am I aging faster than I should? Maybe you've talked to your doctor about hormones only to be told that, oh, those things are dangerous, you need to stay away. I'd rather give you an antidepressant. Or maybe you've been tempted by some online clinic promising to fix your hormones with a one-size-fits-all prescription. This is where so many people get stuck. Now, on one hand, mainstream medicine has villainized hormones for decades. On the other, social media makes hormones sound like it's the miracle cure. And to be honest with you, neither are really right. Hormones can absolutely change your life for the better, but only when they're done the right way. The very first clinic I ever worked at was actually a functional medicine hormone clinic, and we specialized in hormone replacement therapy. I saw firsthand how powerful hormones can be, both for healing and for harm. I've seen women thrive when hormones were balanced correctly, and I've seen people suffer when therapy was completely mismanaged. I've prescribed pellets, I've prescribed creams, I've prescribed injections and oral troches. I've also helped patients balance hormones naturally when replacement wasn't the best choice. Now, for me, hormones aren't a trend, they're a tool that requires precision, responsibility, and context. So to better understand why hormones still carry such fear, we have to look back to the Women's Health Initiative in 2002. That study reported increased risks of breast cancer, heart disease, and strokes. And overnight, millions of women stopped taking their therapy. Doctors were scared, understandably. Patients were scared, understandably. And hormones were branded across the board as dangerous. But here's what people don't know. This is what a lot of people don't talk about. That study used synthetic hormones, not bioidentical hormones, which is what your body recognizes. The average age of women was 63, often 10 years past menopause. Starting hormones that late in life is like revving an engine that hasn't been run in 15 years. Many already had the vascular damage, the hardened arteries, the plaque buildup. So when estrogen improved circulation, it also increased clotting risk. Now, later studies showed that women who started therapy closer to menopause actually had better cardiovascular outcomes and lower risks. The takeaway is simple. Hormones aren't good or bad. They just need to be used in the right person at the right time, with the right formulation, and with close monitoring. So let's talk about the main players. We've got estrone, estradiol, and estriol, the three estrogen sisters. The three forms of estrogen that affect brain, bone, heart, and sexual health. Then there's progesterone. It balances estrogen, protects the uterus, and it supports a calming effect and better sleep. And then there's testosterone. Yes, women need testosterone too. It supports libido, muscle, bone, and motivation. These aren't luxuries. They're regulators of how your body ages. When they drop, everything from your brain to your bones feel it. Now, I don't like the phrase hormone replacement therapy. It sounds like we're topping off a tank. So when we're talking about hormones, what I really like to say is we're doing hormone optimization, restoring balance with the lowest effective dose for the maximum benefit. And that requires testing, a lot of testing. One of the most dangerous trends right now is prescribing hormones without testing. That's just careless and it should be malpractice. Blood testing is great for baseline levels and for injectable therapies. It's also critical for monitoring thyroid, liver, and blood counts and many other things, but it can miss nuances with creams or patches. Urine testing like the HUMAP by Doctors Data or the Dutch test shows how your body actually metabolizes the hormones, whether estrogen is going down a protective pathway or a risky pathway. It also reveals detox and methylation capacity, which really plays a big role at keeping hormone therapy safe. And then there's saliva testing, which also can be useful for managing creams. And it also gives us some insight into the adrenals and your cortisol rhythm. And remember, hormones don't operate in a vacuum. You can't balance estrogen and progesterone and testosterone while ignoring the thyroid, adrenals, metabolism, gut health, and nutrition. It's like patching one leak in a sinking boat while water pours in from everywhere else. Not all providers are created equal. Everybody's got different level experience and a different level of training. Some of the most dangerous cases I've seen come from poorly trained prescribers who are trying to jump on this trend without the proper education or experience, and they prescribe these hormones like candy. So here are some red flags to pay attention to that might tell you you need to find a new hormone doctor. They tell you to increase your estrogen even if you have unexplained bleeding. That's just reckless. Bleeding needs to be investigated. You don't want to pour more fuel on a fire. One simple miscalculation in prescribing can lead to a lot of unnecessary ultrasounds and biopsies, only to discover that it wasn't cancer, it was just bad prescribing. They have you on an estradiol patch or estradiol cream while you're still menstruating. That is never a good idea. They don't look at hormone metabolism. They don't monitor your labs. They don't talk about exercise, nutrition, and sleep. They ignore your adrenal glands. They have a one-size-fits-all protocol like pellets without looking at the full picture. And let me share a pro tip. Too many cooks in the kitchen makes a mess. It's important for you guys to understand that hormone therapy is as much of an art as it is a science. There's many safe ways to optimize hormones, but if you're bouncing between multiple providers, you're going to get conflicting advice and you're going to feel stuck and probably end up doing nothing, which leaves you feeling stranded and like crap. Find one provider that you trust and just stick with them until something changes. That's where you're going to see the best results. When hormone optimization is done right, the benefits are life-changing. Energy returns, focus sharpens, moods stabilizes, sleep improves, your bones strengthen, your muscles build, sex drive comes back, and your cardiovascular health will improve as well. I've had countless patients tell me, I feel like a shadow of who I used to be. And within months, they say, I finally feel like myself again. And I love hearing that because that's what we want for each and every person. There's one common guideline that you really should be aware of that you're going to hear out there, and it's don't start hormone therapy more than 10 years after menopause. Now, by then, many women already have vascular changes. When estrogen, which improves blood flow and clotting, suddenly enters the scenario again, it can be risky if your vessels aren't healthy. And that's why we evaluate each case individually. I've had women in their 60s thrive on therapy because their vascular health was solid. It's never a one size fits all, but just know that just because you're 60 doesn't mean you can't do hormones. At Grassroots, we don't chase trends. We don't push hormones as a magic bullet either. We look at the whole person. We do comprehensive testing before therapy. We individualize dosing and the delivery mechanisms. Sometimes we'll use creams and injections and troches. Like I said, I've used pellets in the past. And we monitor things closely. We check your symptoms. We integrate nutrition, detox, stress resilience, and advanced longevity tools like peptides and ozone. Our philosophy is simple: safe, balanced, personalized care that helps you thrive, not just survive. You're not broken. You're just out of balance. Hormones aren't the entire solution, but when optimized correctly in the right person at the right time with the right testing and the right application, they can totally transform your lives. So don't let outdated fear or social media hype dictate your future. There is safe, effective ways to move forward. We've been optimizing hormones for years at Grassroots. We know the pitfalls and we know the power. And we're here to help you reclaim your vitality, your confidence, and your future. So if you're tired of fatigue, brain fog, low libido, stubborn weight, accelerated aging, that doesn't have to be your new normal. With the right guidance, you can take control of your hormones, you can take control of your health and your vitality, and you can live life like you should. I'm Dr. Seth Osgood with Grassroots Functional Medicine. Check us out on our website. If you need a partner, we're here for you. Thanks for watching and have an amazing day.